sold to some fishermen. Some fishermen were out in a boat. One fell asleep and a strong storm came up. The men were scared, so they woke up the one man who was asleep. The man who was asleep stood up and said, "Peace," and the storm stopped.
He walks with me and he talks with me and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known.
So down the mountain he goes with his slingshot and 5 smooth stones and his confidence in God's protection. The fight itself is over before it even gets started, like that heavyweight fight that you bought on HBO and ends in the first round with a knockout. David moves quickly. He runs toward Goliath. He slings a stone. Goliath falls. The Philistines flee. I once read an essay in the New Yorker by best-selling author Malcolm Gladwell that was called "How David Beats Goliath, When Underdogs Break the Rules." Gladwell argues that David won because he broke the conventional rules of the engagement. He ran toward Goliath. He didn't approach slowly or carefully. He didn't circle Goliath, watching for a move. He ran toward Goliath, unencumbered by conventional armor and weapons. He ran right at his opponent. David won because he was smarter, quicker, more nimble, and he wasn't afraid to think outside the box. There's a great story in the tale of David and Goliath. Part of it is about the power of individual courage and deep love, which expresses itself in commitment. Ruby Bridges remembers the day she walked alone, 6 years old, into an all-white school. The morning of November 14th, federal marshals drove my mother and me the 5 blocks to William Franz. One of the men explained that when we arrived at the school, 2 marshals would walk in front of us and 2 behind. It reminded me of what Mama had taught us about God, that He's always there to protect us. Ruby Nell, she said as we pulled up to the new school, "Don't you be afraid. There might be some people upset outside, but I'll be with you." Sure enough, people shouted and shook their fists when we got out of the car. I held my mother's hand and followed the marshals through the crowd up the steps into the school. The next morning, my mother told me she couldn't go to school with me. She had to work and look after my brother and sister. "The marshals will take good care of you, Ruby Nelson," she assured me. "Remember, if you get afraid, say your prayers. You can pray to God anytime, anywhere. God will always hear you." That was how I started praying on the way to school, she says. The things people yelled at me didn't seem to touch me. Prayer was my protection.